Hi everyone, how's it going? This is the Average Guy 1983. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Today is actually a really sunny day. It's not windy. You only hear a little bit of road noise from cars, driving by, and there's no construction work with that type of sound that they were doing a couple days ago. So because of all of this, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of that situation, and we're going to be installing the Stealthbox by JL Audio for my 2019 Ford Flex. Now, if you think that this Stealthbox won't fit your car, you're in luck. If you have an older model Flex, it doesn't matter. This Stealthbox fits all Ford Flex models from 2009 to 2019, from any trim model, the SE, the SEL, and the limited model, and even the titanium model, if you were one of the lucky people to get the titanium model back in 2012. So with that said, let me go ahead and show you guys the tools that are going to be required to be able to do this installation. And then once we go ahead and install or get all the tools going, we'll go ahead and get started on the installation of the Ford Flex. So let's go. Alrighty guys, this is going to be like my 5th attempt. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to do this stupid video, but if you guys can see over there, now there's construction happening over there. So I'm still going to go through with this though, so hopefully you guys don't mind the stupid construction work background. There's nobody working over here today. Like, you guys can see that the machines are off, and I thought I was going to have better luck, but now somebody's doing crap over there. But anyways, let's get back to this, man. Okay, so here's what you're going to need, man. You're going to need an 11-piece trim removal tool set. And this one is really convenient, man, because this one here has different sizes, different thicknesses, and there's obviously something within this row here that will meet your needs for your installation. So I would highly recommend you get this. I got it on eBay. There's a bunch of different places that have them, that AliExpress, there's Amazon that sells them in different colors. There's even eBay, which is where I bought this one from several years ago, that has it in different colors. You can get it in white, black, red, blue, orange, red, green, etc. So now we're going to go ahead and come over here to the most important tools now. This one here is a 3/8 socket wrench, a 7-inch extension, a 1/4-inch socket wrench, a 3-inch extension, and then I took out this wrench. This is a 9/16 SAE wrench, but I took it out just in case I can't use that one there. Now that one is a let's see if I can get over here real quick. This one is also a 9/16 socket. This is solely for the Ford Flex only, so that's the only reason why you need the 9/16. This one here is a T50 Torx bit. The T50 Torx bit, it's only used for the seat belts of the 3rd row and the 2nd row for the bolts to remove them. This one here is a 9x32 or 9/32 SAE socket, and this one is to remove the little black screws that are on the D pillar and the C pillar. And this one here is a 10mm metric socket, so that you can remove the wire from the negative battery terminal and avoid problems. Now here's another drill bit. This one here is a 9x16. So let me get a close-up there so you guys can see it. This one is a DeWalt brand. It's a DW1620, and this one is going to be needed to make the holes on the sheet metal so that we can be able to install the bolts. Over here we have the manual of the Ford Flex for the installation, and literally the day that I received it after I bought it, which was 4/14/2018. So I had plans on buying a Ford Flex, whether I either got it used or brand new. So I still had intentions. This was way before I even bought the Flex. As you guys already know, I bought my Flex in 2019 in the month of June. Right here is a lot of good accessories to have in here. Is just a big set of a bunch of screwdriver bits just in case it's needed. I have a drill bit so I can be able to make my installation a little easier to remove the screws that I installed in the Stealthbox, and some wire cutters. You got along with a needle nose pliers, just in case you need it. You have the a magnetic little antenna looking stick, just in case a bolt falls into the wheel well and you need to try to get it because you don't have enough space. Some black Tesa tape because we got to install the speaker wire. And then these are really important. I don't have a Dremel, so I have to use these. I already took two of these out so you guys can see how they look. Okay, this is just so that we can be able to sand off those edges of the plastic. But since we don't have a Dremel, we're using this, and this is what it looks like. And I believe I got these each for under $10, if I'm correct. But that's it. That's all you'll need. And of course, obviously, you're going to need your Stealthbox here, which in my case, I have a 10W6 V3 in the Ford Flex Stealthbox, which is normally for it normally comes with a 10W3 V3, which is a good sub, but I wanted to just get a little more deeper low frequency bass output. And basically I went for efficiency and size of enclosure. Now this Ford Flex Stealthbox is for any Ford Flex owner who wants to keep their third row, their trunk space, and their spare tire. That's who it's for. So if this isn't you and you don't really care about you know, sacrificing your third row or sacrificing your entire trunk, it's okay, don't worry about it. But this is for other people like myself who have kids, you know, and really need to keep the third row, and trunk space, as well as the spare tire, so that, you know, we can have everything fully functional but still have some of that bass. So let's go ahead and get started with this installation. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and remove the little covers that are right here. We have one here on this side, one here on this side. We're going to go ahead and just grab the pry tool, go from the top, okay, pull out, grab it with your nail if you have some, okay, on your finger, and then just simply just turn the tool and this pries right off. Same thing on this side. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and get the 1/4 inch extension, as well as the 1/4 inch socket set, and the 9/32 SAE socket. And we're going to go ahead and start removing this. So it's going to be counterclockwise to remove and clockwise to reinstall the screw. And make sure that you always at least go counterclockwise once until you hear a click when you're rescrewing the bolt back on, so that you won't strip the middle hole that's for this specific screw or bolt location. It would really suck for you to have to replace that. Now we're going to go ahead and do the second one. Hope you guys can see everything well. Trying to do my best here to like give you guys as much video footage as possible and as clear as possible, which I hope you guys can see that. Maybe we can probably take this off now here and just turn it. Yeah, here we go. Trying to make it a little faster. All right, we got that off. We're gonna go ahead and move that to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the front now and work there. Alrighty, here we go. I'm just making sure that the video's recording, which it is. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. Once again, we're going to need our tool trim panel remover. And we can go from the bottom here. Just go in as deep as you can and then just carefully pry it open, because this one has two hooks, one on the top and one in the bottom. We don't want to break them. So never go in and just pull like upwards out of nonsense. You're going to definitely need this extension to get this one out. And again, like I mentioned before, counterclockwise to loosen up, clockwise to retighten. Oh, this is taking quite a while to get up. Okay, I'm turning it by hand. Okay, there we go. We got that off. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get to the next part right now, and we're gonna go and remove the seatbelt bolts now, so we can get that out of the way, and then get to the rest of this. So that's all you needed. The this wrench here, or socket set, I'm sorry, and yeah. Alrighty, I started recording again. Now we're gonna be removing the bolt for the seat belt for the second row passenger. So I hope you guys can see that. There's the bolt. Here is the T50 Torx bit. And now we're gonna go ahead and start removing. Hold it on with this, hold on to it with this hand here, and then pull with this one that way. Which again is counterclockwise. Now you can, once you get that going, you can go ahead and just hang on to the bottom of the extension and help get it off faster. Yes, it's still not off yet. There we go. Now we took it off. That's it for that. Now we go to the seatbelt on the third row area. All right, so just please excuse the distortion you're looking at right now in the picture. I had to zoom in a little bit and also turn up the brightness as max as I could so you guys can be able to see everything. We're gonna simply come over here and remove a cap here off of this. This is a simple little cap you can just pull off with your fingers, just like that. So if you see my skin really bright, it's because I had to turn up the brightness. There, right there is your second and final T50 bolt you have to remove. So let me go ahead and grab my my T50 Torx bit, and we're going to do the same thing here. Apply it here, and then turn counterclockwise. So again, if my hand looks super bright, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do my best to try to get this video out for you guys. Let me go ahead and see if I can adjust the color. There we go. It's a little bit better now. So now we're going to go ahead and just continue to remove this out of the way. And I believe that's it. Yep, there we go. And it's off. Now the last two things you need to remove from here is going to be these trims you see here. You see how there's the let's see if you can see it. There's that there that normally holds the cargo net, and there's one right below it, right over there. This is where you're gonna need that needle nose plier to turn clockwise, no, actually, sorry, counterclockwise, to loosen that up so you can get that out of the way. So let's go ahead and get to that part right now in just a split second. Alrighty, here we are. I turned up the brightness as much as possible. Now we're just grabbing the needle nose pliers just to turn the bolt a couple times here. Well, it's not a bolt, just whatever hook this is, and you might be able to get it completely off after that. I tried to not over tighten this because Ford really excessively over tightened this bolt the first time I removed this panel to install the sound deadening material, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, well, you guys got to go and go as far as being having to do that. Okay, there's the last bolt right there. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do my best to show you guys how to get this one off, but again, grab with your needle nose pliers and then just turn it again counterclockwise. And this is again after having your third row seat all the way down, because yes, that's the next thing you need to do. Okay, we got that off. Now there's one more thing. Okay, the last part, oops, go back to normal, zoom out, it's going to be this trim here. this trim needs to come out, and I should have took this out first, but I didn't, so sorry about that. You want to take that out first. The only reason why I didn't take it out first is because there's this weird sticky gunky stuff up here in the middle in this part, and it's all over the trim of the rear cargo area. So I guess it's just to make sure that this weather stripping doesn't fall off. So Ford installed this weird sticky stuff that's really difficult to get off your clothing. It really damages your clothing and you can't use them anymore. I threw one in the washer and it just made the situation worse, and I had to clean the washer really well, even after trying to remove everything I could off the shirt. So I messed up big time. My wife was kind of pissed, and I had to clean everything out, and thankfully I was able to clean the thing. But yeah, let me go ahead and get this panel off real quick. All right, so on this one we do have some trims that have to be removed. Not trims, some panels that gotta be removed. Or I'm sorry, not even panels. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, I'm not even thinking straight. I haven't even had breakfast. I woke up in the morning and I came straight out here to like start working on this stuff. But anyways, let's get back to this. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but right down here in this bottom here, there's a little bolt that just needs to be taken off, a little push-in clip. Just grab it here, push it in with your pry tool and take it out. And it's the same thing on the opposite side. So right over here, right on this side here, is the same thing. Take it out. There's your bolt and your little thingy. So let's go to the next part of the video clip. Okay, so getting back to this video here, there is a little clip that's on this side here. Not sure if you guys can see that little clip. So what you want to do is just get the pry tool and turn it sideways to get that off. Do the same thing on this side. Right around over here, there's another one right there. Grab your pry tool, stick it in, and this one is already out because I think the clip broke from it from the last time I did this. And then we're gonna come back out here. I'm gonna reset my my camera stand here, and we're gonna continue with this video to remove that trim. Alrighty, and we're back. So like I mentioned before, there is a clip here, a clip right here, a clip right here, and a clip right here. I on purposely made a little tiny X mark, which I was okay with sacrificing a little scratch to be able to make it easier for you guys to see this video. Just get your pry tool, go from here, turn it sideways, and you'll start basically unclipping it from its location here. Once this is off, it is going to be much easier to remove this panel. However, remember to also remove the this little cover here that goes for the tire, the spare tire, because there's this little spot that holds on to like a gas can cap filler type thing for like emergency gas, and it gets in the way, so you can't move this trim out of the way until you do that. So now we can go ahead and lift up these little clips here that you see here, this one and here, lift it up, and then we can go ahead and start pulling this out of the way. And remember, there is a clip in the bottom here for like some kind of sensor. Let's disconnect that, and now we can get this trim out of the way. That's all you need to do to be able to install this stealth box. And the next thing would just be removing the side panels here, which we are about to do. So let's start with the back one first. The back one first is a little easier. So just grab it from the side here, okay, the trim. Just start pulling this way. Here we go. And here we go. That's one trim off. Put it to the side carefully. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little closer here and turn up the brightness a bit so you guys can see that I'm about to do that one over there next. So again, avoid removing the what do you call it again? The weather stripping from your doors, and from the rear hatch area, specifically the rear, because that's where all that weird sticky gunky crap is at. So once we do that, we can start getting this panel off. On this one, there's some clips in the top here that go upwards, so make sure that you pull from the bottom first. Don't pull it just from the top only. Pull out from the bottom first, like this, and then make sure that, of course, the clips are completely off from everywhere, and then go ahead and pull downwards once you're done with that. See that? Because there's one clip here going upwards and this one here. You don't want to snap these off. So we got that out of the way. Now that's done. The next thing to do is going to be to remove the little clip, which I'll show you guys right now, which is for the power button of the seats, which I have this on my SEL model. Alrighty, so that's the next part that needs to be removed. So sorry if this video is kind of taking long. I'm working alone, so I don't have a camera person who can just, you know, quickly assist me with this kind of stuff. There you go. We just want to try to get it out just like that. And this is for the seats for the second row. Get that clip off. We're done there. So the last thing that needs to be done is the trim here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Let me see here. Okay, this trim needs to be pulled out. You can do this by hand if you really want to, just like this. But just be careful, because you can actually hurt your hands as well. Looks like I'm gonna need both my hands. Okay, hold on real quick. You know what, better yet, let's use one of these tool trim removers. Let's try to use this one here. There we go. Now about this trim here, it's kind of weird. It has like this middle clip on here, and it's attached to the rubber gasket, or the weather stripping there. So make sure you don't like pull it off. I would suggest just leaving it there. There's this little tiny bolt that you have to take out, this one here, and I'm going to tell you guys the size right now for this one. Okay, so for this bolt here, you just need a 6mm little socket. You can loosen up by hand, really simple. You might also want to tighten it by hand, and that's it for that. Now we can go ahead and get this trim off. Alrighty guys, this is as bright as I can do the video. Let's go ahead and get this panel removed now. Now we can use our pry tool again to start getting the rest of this off. There we go. We'll start seeing things progressing from here on out. Just like that. There's another one over here. Just like that. Now we can come over here to this side. Hopefully you guys can see it good. Yes, you can. Okay, perfect. All right, so come over here now and just start prying things open. There you go. That's it. And there is a 12-volt socket here. So there is a little connection that you're gonna have to remove from the back. So once you get that off, this panel should completely come off. But again, now we can go ahead and put this back on here, because I almost forgot that you have to, you have to have the third row seat down from one side, just like that. So that was a big my bad. See how much easier it is to like pull out now? See that? So let's go ahead and get this out. Remove the clip, which let me see if I can go ahead and do that now. There we go. And that's it. Now we have the panel out, already loosened up. We can go ahead and put our pry tool to the side now to keep things organized and in order. And I'll get the other one right now. This is the panel. We go ahead and scoot all the way back now, because now we're gonna have to put this panel out here on the floor. Well, not even on the floor. I'm gonna have to do it on the grass because I don't have a table. So here we go. Alrighty, so this here is the panel that needs to come off. This trim area is what we're gonna work on with that sanding bit that I showed you guys for the drill. So we can be able to remove this area here, reinstall it, and re-drill the screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video right here so I can do my wiring real quick for the Stealthbox, and then we're gonna come back to the video and focus on this here. All right, so let me go ahead and just take care of this now. So I gotta install my wire. Alrighty everyone, I hope everyone's doing good so far. You're still with me? All right, so here we go. I've already installed the speaker wire. I ran it, and as you guys can see, I put about a good, I'm gonna say like 3.5 feet length or so onto this cable here, just to have extra wiggle room to install the terminals for me, install these wires to the terminal cup on the Stealthbox before installing it with the bolts and everything. And that's it there. I ran it all the way through this side here, underneath this area here that you guys can see, all the way around. I had to lift this area here up. I had to open it up and then run the wire right through, all the way through that edge there. So now I have the wire mesh sticking out there, but this gives me flexibility because if you guys already know me, you guys know that I never make up my mind on what amplifiers I want. I always wait literally till like the end of the installation. So for example, I like to install the speakers first. When it comes to, before the amplifier, I like to install the speakers first and the subwoofer, and then choose my amps accordingly. But before I even install the speakers, I always run the speaker wires and sound deadening material and power wire first. That's number one priority, the power. Considering that I have no plans on putting a secondary battery into the Ford Flex, but I do want to get a high output alternator from Mike Singer, and perhaps upgrading my battery to a Access Power D6500. So I'll get 85 amp hours out of that, plus the alternator running at a steady 240 plus amps at idle at 600 RPM. That's a really good setup there for me, particularly for this system. So now I have this extra wire length that you see there. Should I want to run the HD750 over there on that side, underneath that seat on that side, it rarely gets put, anything rarely gets put there. Nobody really opens that side up. It's always been this side here. So it should be safe from people trying to step on it or any of my passengers. But if I really want to go a little more sensible or like easy, I can do a VX 800/8i for the front and for the front three ways and the two speakers in the back doors, and I can use a VX 1000/5i for the remaining D-pillar speakers that will be right over there, and which is the 3.5 inch mid-range and the tweeter, and then the Stealthbox on 600 watts RMS. So, I got options. If I want to use the HD750, or I can sell the HD750 and use that money towards my my VXI amplifiers. So I have choices. It's just coming up with the plan at the very end. But right now I just want to focus on getting the Stealthbox installed, getting the speaker wires ran, getting the A-pillars started on the fiberglassing, and then buy the C7 speakers, and then afterwards think about the amps. The amps is going to be last. So let's go ahead and get to this now, because now this is going to be the interesting part. This here is the area where everybody wants to focus on. I'm going to try to turn it up as much as possible, zoom in a bit, and basically what we have to do here is we have to get a drill bit and start drilling out or sanding down these little spots here, all these little recessed areas. This has to get all completely sanded out from the front to the back, and it's going to be a little bit tough considering the kind of tools that I have to work with. So we'll see how that works out, but let's get to it, man, because there's no other way to get this done. Now they recommend a Dremel. I might actually need one, I'm not sure, but I think I am gonna need one after all. And if I do, I'll probably end up having to go get one, but I'm gonna work with whatever I can. So here we go. So you get your little sanding disc and you start sanding these areas down one at a time. Just like that, and they'll slowly start coming apart. So you'll have to do the same thing with the opposite side here. Just like that, all the way around. And we're gonna keep going until we have everything done. So hopefully you guys can still see everything there. See, come this way. I'm gonna drop the camera down a little bit. All right, here we are again. Let's continue on. Again, we wanna try to trim these down. It's basically sanding these areas down. Just like that. Same thing on this side. Right here too. Okay, now I could see why they asked for a Dremel, because if you kind of notice this side over here, it's a really tight spot. So it's going to be a little hard to try to get that area completely off. But we'll try to work on it and see how we can get these completely taken off, because we also have to remove this part here. So yeah, let's see how that works out. So let's go ahead and turn it over. I don't know, let me see. Let's do it this way. Hopefully hopefully you guys can see that there. Or let's come over to this side better. And there we go. Let's do it again, or do it again. Repeat. Okay, we've done part of that, so this should start coming off a whole lot easier. And but I do have a trim I have to remove from this part here. Okay, let me try to figure this out and I'll get back to you guys on this. Alrighty, a little update for you guys here on this panel. Okay, so you see how there's the little trims on the inside there? Little in the inside, those little areas there. We don't mess with those. We mess with the ones that are right here at the edge of the lip, which is right here. Once you trim 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all the way this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 here. You should be able to start prying this thing out. So let's go ahead and try to do that now with the a thick enough trim tool to do this. So if you guys already seen here, I took part of it off already. You guys can see that. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and stand this up like this. I'm not sure if you guys can see it because oops. So sorry guys. Yeah, there we go, perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and come on over here and start prying it off. This is where your pry tools come in handy. So we can start lifting. There you go. Heard that little snap there. This is a lot of the parts that a lot of people were intimidated with and getting done because they feel like it requires a professional to do this. And in reality, my videos here are to show you guys how to do it yourselves and save yourself some money. It's the whole purpose of this. There you go. Let me see here if I can get the rest of this out here. Hopefully you guys can still see the video here. There we go, perfect. Because there's still a whole lot more work to do here. There we go. All right, I took this part off already. Now, there we go. There's that part. And now we can go ahead and remove this part now. Can you guys see it there? Gonna start getting these out little by little. There we go. Get your tool, press in against, and you loosen them up. You see that? Again. And don't be afraid to get a little cut here and there because it's going to happen. There we go. That's it. So now we got, like you guys have seen here, got this off. We got this off that's not going to be used anymore. So we can just put that to the side. Now we got to start cutting this trim panel down. So we're going to get to that part next. Hopefully you guys can see it there. There we go. Sorry guys, I didn't realize that it wasn't being shown, but there you go. Hopefully you guys catch that. And if you didn't, I apologize. But we got this off. So now we can go ahead and go on over to the next step, which is trimming this area here down in the bottom. So let's do that. Hey guys, sorry about the wait. I'm pretty sure that this is just coming up like out of nowhere, but my phone died and it overheated, so I had to wait about an hour and a half in order for my phone to cool down completely and charge up. So it's not dark yet because it's literally like 2-something p.m. So in the meantime, while my phone was charging, I went ahead and I took out the 10W6 that I have in the Stealthbox from the Stealthbox, and I stripped 2 freaking screws. So I'm pretty pissed about it because I wasn't intending to do that. Let me see if I can bring them up and show them to you guys. So I have these tamper-proof screws. I'm going to show them to you right now. Here we go. The problem is, you see that little nipple thing that's right there in the middle? Yeah, I said nipple. That little metal hook that's sticking out there, it keeps bending. And when it does that, it makes the screws strip. And so there's nothing wrong with the drill bit or the Torx screw bit. It's perfectly fine, but it's these screws that keep messing up. So I'm not sure if I should still consider using these tamper-proof screws. The reason why I went with this is so that, you know, I can prevent people from trying to steal my Stealthbox from my car. So I don't know, I may just go ahead and order some more because I need 10 and I now have only 8 with these two that literally can't not be used anymore. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you guys what I did here in the meantime while the phone was charging up. Now, I didn't go any further than what you've seen in the last video, other than me just simply just going around and measuring stuff, because you do need to measure this stuff. So here's what I did. Let me show you guys this real quick. So what I did was I cut these little laminated pieces of paper, or whatever you want to call it, laminated pieces of paper here. This one here is 1 inch and this one here is 3/8 of an inch. So what I did it with the measuring tape. Then I came over here, okay, and I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let me adjust my camera here just so you guys can see it really well. Okay, so here's what I wanted to show you. So we're in luck for all of us who are using a Ford Flex with the SEL or the SE models that don't have the 8-inch subwoofer enclosure, because the grill cover changes. So in this case right here, you guys can see this pretty well. From the bottom here all the way to about this line right here, it's exactly 1 inch. Here's an inch. It's perfectly fine. From here all the way to this edge right here. Now, thanks to this piece of laminated paper, I was able to basically bend this like this and trace over the line up to the top to where that 1 inch cut needs to be made. So it goes from this line that way to cut. Same thing at the top. Go all the way up to here, if you can see that, and it comes up to that line there. You stop there because that's the inch. 3/8 of an inch, which is at the top, okay, is basically right at the edge of that line there that you see there from the cuts. So you just trace that over all the way to this edge here, all the way across, and that is literally 3/8 of an inch of a cut. So if you come back over here, I'm sure you can see that 3/8 of an inch of a cut. It's perfect. So on this side over here, it's a little bit different, just slightly different. Let me try to zoom in real quick just so you guys can see that. Okay, so you have to continue the trim from right here, or the measurement from here all the way up this way, up to this edge here. Let me go ahead and pause the video so these guys can pass by. Okay, here we are again. They finally kind of left. So what I did was I used this 1 inch cut plastic thing, or laminated paper, and I went over here like this, and I started tracing over the line, going all the way around to this point. See how from here to this point, this is where the inch ends, and it looks almost identical on the instructions as well. So I went ahead and I marked it up here in this line here that you can see, all the way back up to this line here, and that would have to be trimmed again from this line outwards, not from this line in. Okay, so once again, from the sides, let me go ahead and move that back a little bit. Oops, a little dark there. Okay, from the sides, from here all the way down, all the way around this way to the top there, it is exactly 1 inch of a gap that you need all the way around. Thankfully, like I said earlier, this side, and this side is already 1 inch, so we don't have to trim this down. We do have to trim from here up though, okay? And once again, once you trim up to this line here, once you trim up to this line, right, and you trim all the way down to this line over here, or you can just like kind of curve it if you want with the jigsaw, which is what I'm about to demonstrate. You just cut it to that 3/8 line, or basically up to this little gap here. From this gap all the way down, you can just use a Sharpie and mark it and then cut it, and then you're done with this panel. Then we'll have to reinstall this panel back into the car, put everything back the way it was, and then we can go ahead and measure the Stealthbox inside, mark the little holes with the Sharpie, take it back out, drill it, then put our little clips and stuff, which we'll go all through that and get this rolling. So let me go ahead pause the video here real quick. I'll get the my jigsaw and we'll get this trimmed up. So here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so for this cut here, we're going to be using a jigsaw. I'm going to be using these Bosch branded metal cutting blades. This one is a T118G, and it's a 5 piece of jigsaw metal cutting blades, and it's for very thin metal, like you see there. And it's perfect for plastic because it's a really thin cut. You don't have to worry about it being so abrasive. And for my drill, I mean not my drill, my jigsaw, I'm using a powered jigsaw. This one is the, see if I can focus there, the DCS331. Had this for a very long time and I've used it for lots of stuff. So let's go ahead, come on over here and see if I can zoom in for you guys, and we can start cutting. Let's see here. Perfect. Try to make it quick because I'm noticing that I have like a 10-minute increment here. There's that. Not sure if you guys were able to see that or not. Oops. Sorry. I am so sorry, man. I'm so clumsy when it comes to this crap. Let me go ahead and pick this up again. Oops. Gotta be real careful there because I have the LED thing. And that's another thing. If you have a friend help you at least hold this down. I don't have any, so I'm on my own here. And it makes things a lot harder for me. But here we go. Let's keep going. Alrighty, and there's that. See how nice of a clean cut that is? And that is with a metal cutting blade. Very very thin and yet still sharp. So let's go ahead and stop the video here and we'll continue onto this trimming part on the next little video clip. Alrighty, here's the next clip. I apologize sincerely, like I mentioned before, I'm recording in 1080p at 60 frames per second. On my Samsung Galaxy Note 9, I'm limited to 10 minutes of recording per every 1080p video. When I record in 4K, I'm limited to 5 minutes, and that's where the phone really starts to overheat nasty status. So if you guys can hopefully see that, right around there, let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, there's that. Hoping you guys can see, because the problem here is that I have this video here that's recording, but I don't have, like, you know, somebody spotting me. Alrighty, we got that so far. We might have to like pull some of this off or sand some of this down, but hopefully you guys could still see the video there. And that's it. There we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and sand this down, the little top part here, with a little sandpaper, smooth it out, and we'll get to the next part. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have already trimmed down or sanded down this area here that you can see. This is about as nice as it's gonna get. Let's see if I can. No, I can't. It won't let me focus. Boo, this phone sucks. Anyways, Here you have it though, if you can actually see it. I went ahead and I sanded this area down with 80 grit sandpaper all the way through. So now it's just reinstalling everything back of the enclosure. I mean, reinstalling this panel completely back in place. So I'm going to take care of that right now, and then we're going to do the drilling of the little areas there so that we can go ahead and finish this Ford Flex installation. So let's go ahead and get to that now. Alrighty, so as you guys can see, there are some clips that need to be reconnected, like this one here for the outlet. This is a little 12-volt outlet that's in the back. I haven't had a use for it yet, but it doesn't mean that I never will. It doesn't mean I never will, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to start connecting this panel back into place. See how it kind of just slipped right into place? And I have plenty of wiring there sticking out for the Stealthbox right here, which is exactly what's needed to do. And then I can go ahead and start putting the panel back together. Don't forget that on the opposite side over there, we also have to reconnect the wire for the button for the seat to open up automatically, and that is if you happen to have that feature in your Ford Flex. So if you have the SE model, you might not have that feature, but if you have the SEL with the appearance package, there's a possibility that you are going to have this feature along with the limited model. So I am going to have a little bit of a hard time putting this together, and the reason why is because I have sound deadener installed into the car. So the sound deadener is a little too on the thick side and was kind of making me not be able to install certain things back, but we're doing our best here to get everything installed. And again, don't forget you have the little wire clip that has to come right out for your button thing here. So here we go. Sorry if I'm taking too long. I hope you guys can see me from there. This side is done, or at least about as done as is going to be done. Okay, I can go ahead and come over here, make sure that's locked. Okay, that's locked in place. I'm still recording. Yep, I'm at 3 minutes in. So now we have the fun part of this, making sure that this gets aligned right there. And then we have enclosure that goes there. Oops. Okay, there's that. And I gotta come over here, make sure I have this fully installed on the inside. There we go, perfect. And that's the problem with this trim, that you gotta make sure you got this right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting this together, and then we'll get to the part where we have to drill the holes for the flex, for the Stealthbox, and that metal trim over there, and then we'll come back to this video. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. I already put the panel away. As you guys can see, everything has been put back. You just see the big hole that I have here on the side here and there. That's about it. There's still not enough space in there, by the way, to install that HD amp, but maybe like an XD 600 /1 would fit perfectly in that spot. But anyways, it's time to get to this part here. So right here, we're going to have to remove the cotton material that's in here. as per the instructions on the manual. And then it says that we have to go and put this stealth box in the spot over there, right there, and that we have to basically with the Sharpie make the hole colors there. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna step in here. Hopefully I can fit this in here. Let me see here, because what I want to do in this video here is I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best possible image that you can see, so that you can get an idea of what to do. So it says here, just put the stealth box in just like that, so it's in there, okay? And then the next part, this is pretty big stealth box. The next part, it says to trim or to trace over the little holes that are inside. In other words, oops, they want us to trace over the little holes that are there. So let me grab a Sharpie, let me make sure it works, and hopefully you guys can still hear me because I walked away from the phone here. So let me see here. I could just move that out of the way there so you guys can see it. So now it says for me to go ahead and have this pressed against the wall here and grab a Sharpie and try to make a mark just like that. Go over here, do the same thing. Do my best to make a mark, and hopefully it did. Now let's go ahead and move this back and see if it worked. And yes, it did. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Can you see the two little marks there? Right there. Okay, now we got to drill through those holes. We can't do more than a half-inch depth on these holes here. So let's be real careful as we're applying pressure on this thing. And we take our hardware. There we go. Oh God, he's such a big guy. Okay, hopefully you guys are still with me here. Okay, so let me go ahead and scoot this a little bit back just so you guys can see where the holes are at. Now my job is just to make the hole there. Hold on real quick. There we go. Is to make a hole right here, straight in. Oops. Okay, that's not working. That's not good. Okay, let me try to see if I can find something else. Hold on real quick. Okay, let's try something like this that has a sharper point. This one's not the correct size, so it's a smaller size. But what I'm trying to do here is just accomplish the hole that I have to make. Get in there. Alrighty. Hopefully that worked out good. Gotta do the next one now. You guys still with me there? Okay. Alrighty. Got in there. Okay, so here we go. So this, I see what they mean about being careful. So there's no way to get out of this. I gotta let you guys see this. Okay, not sure if you can see the mark there. See that little mark there, little tiny mark? That's me penetrating almost through the sheet metal. It is what it is. Unfortunately, thankfully, all I did was just crack the paint a little bit and clear coat, but not actually damage the frame. But let me go ahead and focus a little better, because the honest truth is that I had this camera right in the way, so it made it very difficult for me to try to get this done. So let me try to put a stop on this video and just finish drilling the holes that I need to do. But you kind of get the idea, no? All right, guys, here we go. Mistakes made, lesson learned, right? Let's do this. Alrighty, everyone, and we're back. This took more longer than I thought it was gonna take, so I apologize that I didn't finish recording this part. There was a lot of trial and error, and I did ended up damaging the exterior part of my panel just slightly. Not a lot, but enough for me to tell up close. So I'm pretty bummed out about it, but it is what it is. Here's how it looks. You have to make sure that, for some reason, the holes that were on the actual Stealthbox were not matching the holes that were on the clips. This one kind of matched, but it's kind of sticking outwards. This one here didn't even align at all with the Stealthbox part, because it has this big, let's see if I can pull it off here. It has this big metal clip thingy on the edge that I had to bend in order for me to be able to get this in here, this bracket. And JL Audio does not mention that in their Stealthbox installation. So either they drilled my holes too small, or who knows what the hell happened. But we're gonna go ahead and wire this up already, so we can install this and just get this out of the way. Once it's installed, we can go ahead and forget about it and not have to worry about taking it off ever again. I am gonna have to wait till I get my screws though to install the actual subwoofer. So it's kind of messed up, because I was really looking forward to just having it on already and not have to worry about leaving it. But it's alright. I mean, it's alright in regards to having to leave the sub the way it is, or the box enclosure. So sorry guys if I'm taking too long here. What I'm doing right now is I'm just wiring up this enclosure here with 10 gauge wire. 10 gauge is the max you can fit into these terminals, by the way, just so you know that 10 gauge is the max. And this is exactly why I'm using 10 gauge in the first place. There you go. So let me go ahead and finish this up, because I can't hold on to the camera and do this at the same time. So let me go ahead and make sure these are nice and tight, so they'll never get loose and have to worry about taking off the Stealthbox to retighten these things. Alrighty, so now we can go ahead and move this a little further back. We can install this now. Move this wire to the side. And what we have to do here is align the screws, the bolts that are in here, with this with this Stealthbox here. And for some reason it is not aligning. Fantastic. Maybe I need to make them a little bit longer. Yeah, for some reason it's not aligning. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to stop this again. Jesus Christ, man, this is becoming a problem. Okay, let me figure this out and then we'll come back to the video. Alrighty guys, we're back. Sorry about that, I had to figure this out. In the instructions, JL Audio was telling you to that you have to install the screws first, or the bolts, and then slide the Stealthbox in. so that it can be nicely aligned. However, on my Stealthbox here, the holes are not aligned. They're not aligned at all. I had to make this side over here bigger, like wider, going that way. This one here, I had to like bend the sheet metal from the flex, like from this to this, or basically from this to this, like inwards. So in order for me to get the bolt as straight as possible. So to tighten this up now, all you need to do is just grab a 9/16 wrench. Grab yourself a what size is this here? I'll tell you guys right now. Grab yourselves a 4.5 CR bolt or bit, like an Allen wrench type, and then you can start holding that down while you tighten this up. So all you do is you keep this straight. Make sure it doesn't turn as you're tightening this up. It needs to be really tight, because remember, you're going to put a heavy sub inside of this sheet metal. And I could already tell you right off the back, there are a few things that I already don't like about this Stealthbox. One of them is the alignment. It is not properly aligned with this thing, this location at all, and I'm pretty bummed out by it, but it is what it is. So you gotta keep screwing it in until it's fully tight. There you go. That's tight there. And now we're gonna do the other side now. Right over here. Oops. Be harder to do it this way. Jeez. Okay, well, I have to try. There you go. Hope you guys can see that in a way. I know that I have my hand in the way there. And if I'm making a lot of clanking sounds, sorry. This enclosure is made out of fiberglass entirely, and I just need to make sure that this box, it ain't gonna go anywhere, especially after putting the sub. The sub is heavy, so you just gotta put just a little bit more pressure on there. We don't want to make it too tight, because then could probably end up breaking this fiberglass. Say one more turn. Oh yeah, this ain't going nowhere now. So if you kind of look at it here, there you go, see that? It's definitely not going to go anywhere. Well, it's installed now, so that's it. Let me show you guys the damage though that this thing caused. It's kind of my fault, because again, the instructions do say to please make sure not to put or not to drill more than 1/2 inch. The problem is that I worked with what I got, and this is the damage. Let me go ahead and remove my let's see, still got the microphone there, perfect. Let me go ahead and remove my camera here, because I'm using this little thing to talk to you guys. So here's the damage. Only one spot, but you can tell that it's damaged. Do you see that? Yeah, I messed up big time. It could be fixed though. I could take it to a shop. I can have this nicely fixed up, so it's not a problem. At least it didn't penetrate completely through. It only cracked the paint and clear coat, but it didn't damage the sheet metal completely, so that's fixable. But all of that just to install this big Stealthbox that's not so stealthy. So now that I'm done with this installation, I can definitely tell you that it was difficult to do, because the problem here was that the holes inside of this enclosure was not properly aligned. I'm going to keep repeating that because there's no way that I could have done these holes wrong. The sheet metal is made a specific way. Unless Ford changed something on this side here on the panel for the SEL and the SE models, then that could be the reason as to why the Stealthbox came out the way it did. Because the one that they show you on the manual is for a limited model that has the 8-inch subwoofer. So if you don't have that, then the installation might be slightly different for you as it was for me as well. But either way though, it's installed already. There's the enclosure. Now I just have to go and get some new screws, because I don't trust these anymore. But get some new screws for this 10W6 V3 and the grill over there, and get that going. So I'm going to see if I can find some other screws right now. I do have some other Torx screws, so I'm going to try to get those right now and see if this will work. Hold on real quick, guys. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. So here's the ending results. Now, okay, so here's the deal, man. Look, I know I spoke very negative, but I am satisfied with the way the Stealthbox turned out. The only problem that I had, like I mentioned before, is number one, the carpet that's on my Flex here for 2019 does not match the Stealthbox carpeting. Now, that could be for many reasons. Number one, I have the SEL Ford Flex with the appearance package, so my interior color is a lot different than the regular SEL without the appearance package, as well as the limited. So you know, this could be a reason as to why the color doesn't match. However, there is a number two complaint. The number two complaint is the brackets that get installed on the back where the sheet metal goes before installing the Stealthbox did not align with the holes that were actually in the Ford Flex Stealthbox itself. In other words, the clips in the back were straight like this and like this, and the holes inside of the Stealthbox itself was slightly off about this much on one side and slightly higher on the opposite side, so they didn't match, and that was the reason why I couldn't get these holes, the Stealthbox, to go into the enclosure area. Sorry, I heard a motorcycle and figured I would just quiet this down. But again, that's one of the reasons why I couldn't get the enclosure in, was because the screws that were in there were supposed to be perfectly aligned, and you were just supposed to just slide in the enclosure, slide it inwards, and just tighten it down, and that's it. So that was my hiccup. Now again, I don't think this is 100% Gel Audio's fault, or maybe it is compared to the sheet metal, but then again, I have a 2019. I bought this Stealthbox in 2018, so they probably went with the 2009 model or maybe a 2010 model Flex, and something was a little bit different in the back area where the sheet metal's located. So other than that, it looks really nice and it's really sturdy. I mean, if you knock on this, it is freaking legit. I mean, it is a really well-made Stealthbox. Really, really well made. I got a 10W6 in there. I'm positive that I'm going to be super satisfied with this subwoofer, so I have no complaints about that. The damage that happened to the front is very minimal on the outside sheet metal, like you guys can see there. Right? This is pretty messed up, but it's very tiny. Look, here's my pinky finger. Okay? My big sausage finger. But there you go. There's my pinky finger. And there is the damage that happened to the paint of the car. But if you walk away, just like that, you can't see it at all anywhere other than the car being dirty. But you can't see it, the scratch at all. So I might just leave it like that for now until things get better out here, because I mean, again, we're dealing with the coronavirus still, and everybody's doing the social distancing. I'm doing my part, as well as keeping my wife and my kids indoors. They're tired of being indoors, but you know, I only go out for grocery shopping and I wear a mask, I wear gloves because I have, asthma. And, if you haven't noticed, I'm a really big freaking guy. So I am type 2 diabetic. Unfortunately, it's my fault for being type 2 diabetic. If I would lose some more weight, I can probably get rid of it. But I'm a really big risk to the coronavirus if I get sick. I've gotten pneumonia in the past, and it was really hard to breathe. I had to take prednisone tablets to help me out with that, and some other kind of antibiotic medication, and it did help. But this won't help you if you have the coronavirus. You have to kind of like wing it off and make it go away yourself. So I can't take that risk, so I wear a mask, I wear gloves, and I'm always fully clothed and everything, so even a jacket and whatever. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The next video that I do would hopefully be on the front area where I have to do the sound deadening. So I need to do the sound deadening from here, from this point forward, or basically from this point here forward. And so I have to remove the second row seats, and I have to remove the front seats, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the TVs here because I have HDMI wires in there, so I don't know how that's going to go. But then I have to do the wiring for the amplifiers, and I believe that will be it. So let me show you guys real quick before I forget what it looks like from the inside of the car. So as you guys can see, it is big, and this stealth box is not really stealth box looking. A stealth box is supposed to be a subwoofer enclosure that you can't see, but this is the best you're gonna get for something like a Ford Flex, especially if you want to keep your third row seating, and if you also want to keep your trunk space and want to keep your spare tire. So this is like legit. This isn't bad. But again, if you do this stealth box installation yourself, just be real careful on the alignment of the screw holes. Make sure that they match first. Matter of fact, this is what I should have done and I made a mistake. So I'm gonna give you guys this advice right now. Go ahead and put in the stealth box once you're done cutting the trim on the panel. Put it in, mark your holes, remove the stealth box, and then add the clips to those areas. And if those little pins that you just did with the Sharpie do not match the clips, the holes that are on the clips, then realign your holes with or your Sharpie marks with the clips of the actual metal brackets that are on the Flex to avoid having that problem that I did. Now, if I would have known this from the start, I would have actually done that, but I didn't know. So this was a mistake made for me and a lesson learned for everybody else that's learning off of my mistakes right now. So again though, check it out. It is really cool looking though. Just again, like I said before, my only complaints are the carpet doesn't match. But then again, I have the appearance package one that's like a sporty color, so that can be something that matches the older model Flexes. And again, the alignment of the holes inside of the enclosure itself. But other than that, I feel like I'm going to be super satisfied with this enclosure. The next thing, like I mentioned before, is going to be the sound deadening for the rest of the car in the bottom of the floor. Then we're going to get the C7 speakers, which will be the C7 6.5s for the front and rear doors, 4 pairs of C7 3.5 inch mid-range drivers for the A pillars and the D pillar location, and then 4 pairs of or 4 tweeters of the C7 tweeters for the A pillars and the D pillars, and that's going to be an amazing sounding system. I'm most likely going to be using the VX800/8Is and the HD750/1. However, I am going to be testing this sub with that HD750 if I feel like it's bottoming out and with too much power. Instead of lowering the volume or the gain control on the amp, I would rather just get me, the a VX1000/5i, use the subwoofer line for that specific subwoofer, and then just rearrange the the way I'm going to be doing the amplifier installations, and just stick with 2 amps instead of 3. So now that I'm done with that, now that you guys have seen how this looks, it's time for me to say goodbye for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the video, please share with your friends, other people that have a Ford Flex that want to do the same thing. That's about it. So I guess we're done here. So anyways, once again, stay safe, my friends. Make sure you take really good care of yourselves. Do that quarantine thing that the government is asking us to do, just to comply and not get ourselves into trouble. And yeah, man, up until the next video. Peace out, my friends. Laters.